Galaxia isn't a failure because of anything I did. It's what I didn't continue to do and what I haven't done and what I've been dragging my feet on. So I have only myself to blame in the end. But as far as... So just don't give up. Keep going. By the way, we are live.
Very cool. So yeah,
I wouldn't consider Galaxia a failure by any metric. I
No,
would
man.
say you're still growing your audience.
Well,
Welcome
and the
to
thing
sales.
is, I published
Branding.
I published a mostly complete product that was still not fully complete or ready, but I thought it was. Okay, so that's how that comes out now.
Dude, it was complete enough for now. There's called first and second and third editions for a reason.
Yeah, like, did you know that Larry Niven's Ringworld, the reason why there was a second printing was because there were multiple spelling errors and math errors, and Niven wanted to go back and correct them. So you're in good company, sir.
Yeah, I would not take it personally, and I also wouldn't, like, most writers don't make money till they die. It's posthumous. So, like, that's why I say just keep writing. You'll get there.
Just keep
I think one of the bigger things to do is, like you said, is you're doing all this work to build this universe. Like, maybe the reason why you didn't finish it in terms of a book is because it was actually meant to be a movie and you needed some pictures in there, or a graphic novel and you needed some pictures in there, right?
Well, and the thing is too is the edit that is coming out now is going to be probably the best that it could.
That's awesome, and that's what I'm
experience,
saying.
yeah.
So, like, to quote the great Bear Grylls, adapt, overcome, drink your own pee.
Maybe leave at the last part.
No, that's what Bear Grylls always says. Adapt, overcome, drink your own pee.
I should probably start the timer.
I wouldn't trust the last part because apparently he got airlifted out every night after shooting.
Right.
And so, you know, different stories for different folks, but adapt and overcome is very good. Improvise, adapt, overcome, drink.
Hoorah.
Drink your piss.
No, I would say a lot of people keep judging themselves by a world that they hate, and that is the market itself. Like, your goal is to find your audience, and you don't want to be a corporate shill. So that means you have to do all the independent work that, like, rock stars have to do, which is go from town to town, introduce yourself. Oh, you're not a rock star, so nobody wants to go to your book announcements? Start a podcast. It's the 21st century. Like, improvise, adapt, overcome. Could also follow the tried and true path and probably end up on fiction bookstores everywhere in some form of YA, teen fiction. That's not what you wanted, but that's what the market said was the best, and now you're part of the corporate guild.
How do you guys feel about the simplistic thumbnail for the ET?
I like it. But then I'm a simple guy with simple tastes.
Just a simple guy trying to make his way through the galaxy. I'm with you.
Alright, with that, it's time to mute and let the audience enjoy the sound of the loading screens. Good evening, Proto Badger. Good to see you. Only you and several others could get us to break our pre-show radio silence. Tonight, I'll figure out how to stop screwing with the screen so I can properly address you about all the cool stuff we're talking about, everything going on in the entertainment world, including Is Superman Even That Great? You'll find out right now on The Writer Brothers! I'm sorry. While this is The Writer Brothers, that was incorrect. What I should have said was, coming up on tonight's entertainment, information, intelligence podcast, it would seem that the hat is giving away my cards. All right, let's keep going, and hopefully we have a good enough show from there.
Hey.
Crap. There it is. Right button. Okay. Welcome to tonight's Entertainment Information Intelligence Podcast. I'm Peter York, joined with Corione, somewhere over there. He's on
I'm
whatever
right
side.
here.
In front of my face.
You're over here.
You're right there. And Hoyo
was
is
about
over
to
there.
down there.
And then, look, we're the Writer Brothers. We do this pop culture podcast thing every Tuesday when we feel like it. It's the summertime. We're being lazy. What of it? But Proto Badger says, greetings. How be things, folks? Well, things be contentious. And the fact that I still cannot get this stupid
Hanging
show
a little
work
to the
properly.
left.
Yeah, just a little bit more to the right, and you're good. Okay, anyway. But let's get some other music in the background for you. I can remember where I stored it.
Time to get funky.
That's right. Time to get funky with our intelligence music in the background. And probably should also bring it down on the quiet side a little bit so people can actually hear what we're saying. Alright, how's everybody been? I know it's been a couple of weeks since we gathered around the entertainment fire, but, you know, how's the lazy summer days treating you? John, how's it going for you?
I hurt my hand on my way to work last week. I fell off my scooter going way too fast.
Gotta slow down, man, or just get a Chevy Bolt. It's a little more effective in a scooter in that it doesn't fall over.
Yeah, but then you're beholden to the electricity companies.
Still a lot cheaper than gas and faster too. Oh, wait, camera's down here now. So yeah, I know what I'm doing today. Corione, how's lazy summer treating you, bro?
It's busy summer for me, man. I am working like a maniac and trying to keep on top of all the pop culture stuff because there is a lot going on these days.
There is. At the same time, there's not. Last week was more exciting. This week, not as much. So we're gonna kind of mesh the two together. If you watch the 3-minute version, then we already talked about this a little bit. But let's get into it more. Rolling back the time machine to July 4th, 2025. Netflix is shark attacking Discovery and Nat Geo this summer. So, Corione, you brought this story to our attention. Does it have significance to you?
Yeah, well, okay, so I really enjoyed the Shark Week kind of broadcasts. I mean, I think we can all remember back, a few years, like more than a few years ago when Discovery started doing Shark Week, and it was a lot of fun. I've done a lot of scuba. Well, yeah, I've also done actual scuba diving in shark waters, so I'm always fascinated by them. It's kind of cool to see, and the fact that everyone kind of went, yeah, Shark Week's a good idea. Let's all do it on the same week and see who we can battle, and see if we can battle it out for who gets the views. I mean, I find that amusing. It kind of reminds me of like, when a YouTuber gets a good idea and everyone glamps onto it, trying to, suck as many views out of that one good idea.
Yeah.
And, seeing the networks do it makes me laugh.
How did it go over, though, anyway? Because I realized that's from the not-too-distant past now, and...
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. I mean, I liked Nat Geo's coverage.
Oh, okay.
They brought up some good stuff. The Discovery stuff was pretty much what we're used to seeing from them. There wasn't too much, like, really jump-out exciting new stuff. And, yeah, man, look, it's an excuse to watch sharks go do shark stuff. That's kind of fun, man.
Without having to pop
and
in
it's
jaws.
also an annual display of camera capture of sharks. Like, one of the things I've always loved about technology is how much closer I can get to danger without leaving my couch. Like, 4K, 8K images being streamed to you on your 4K Netflix account is a really cool way to see sharks compared to what Discovery used to have, which was grainy AF because they barely had waterproof cameras.
Well, another piece of that too is, it's not just that we get to see it. It's these channels get to show off what they were capable of pulling together in this. And you got to remember that in the wild, 99% of the time, if you see a shark, you're going to be seeing its tail as it takes off. The fact that they're able to get some of these shots and position themselves to be able to get a good view of these sharks is actually pretty impressive.
I actually had a nurse shark swim. Actually, it was with H. Marie. We were snorkeling over off of one of the reefs, or off of the reef here in the Florida Straits, and yeah, we had a nurse shark come just kind of. Oh, it was a reef shark. Reef shark. That's right. It was a little tiny reef shark, and it just right by our faces.
Yeah,
we also had a manta
they're
ray
cute.
fly in front of us, or float in front of us, I should say. No, was it a stingray? Oh, it was a big stingray. Okay. They have the things, and they're also huge.
Yeah.
It was a big stingray, though.
Yeah, you wouldn't see those outside of you wouldn't see a manta ray outside of the Sea of Cortez.
Fair enough. Or at least,
or if you did, I'd be terrified.
Well, they do, but they're like out in the straits, like not near the shallows of the keys where we go snorkeling. That's I mean, but the stingrays that we get, they are pretty big. They are not small little creatures. Like
No, they've got some size and shape on them.
They can be a little tiny, but they can also be like pretty massive. It was really cool, and also, humbling at the same time, because you're like, oh, that's the thing that killed Steve Irwin. So, all right, moving on now. Michael Douglas says U.S. is flirting with autocracy. People enter politics now to make money. They enter politics now, bro. Where the hell have you been? They've been doing that shit since the 80s.
Hey, Gordon Gekko.
Yeah.
Greed is good.
You were
Come
there.
off it, Shia LaBeouf's
You were the
dad-in-law.
guy propagating the propaganda.
Yeah.
Mike-
You were the being that they idolize, dude.
Right. Yeah. Michael Douglas spoke out against the risks of autocracy in the United States and touted the benefits of democracy during a press conference at the 59th edition of the Karlovy Vary International Film Festival in the Czech Republic. Star came to the picturesque Czech spa town to present a screening of a newly restored version of Czech-American directing legend Milos Forman's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, in which Douglas was the producer and starred Jack Nicholson. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, so to me, I'm like, dude, this is rich coming from the guy who played the dude that I would argue Trump based his life on.
Right.
Like, you are these guys' hero in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Proto Badger in the chat, turning back to the previous conversation, says stingrays are beautiful to see. I agree. They're also a lot of fun to touch. Of course, I'm talking about the ones that they have at the little touching pools at Six Flags Vallejo. Little baby ones that you can just...
I don't know, man. The regular ones are fine to touch too, so long as you've got an 8mm neoprene wetsuit.
Of course.
So that the stinger can't actually get in there.
At least it's not supposed to, anyway. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we definitely are flirting with, an AI autocracy. There's definitely the danger there, and I certainly don't want it myself. And I think that what we're going to see is a surge of AI products. Some of it's going to work. Like, I mean, apparently voice acting on audiobooks is apparently noticeably indifferent, and for smaller publishers and creators, it's a way for us to get our work out there that's going to be heard. And so it's like, well, why not just hire a voice actor? Well, because I don't have any money to begin with. So, I mean, if my channel had 5 million subs and not, 379, yeah, I'd
Sorry,
probably
Daddy
have no problem
didn't leave me a trust fund.
Huh?
Sorry, Daddy didn't leave me a trust fund.
Yeah, also Daddy's still alive,
Yeah.
so even if he had left us a trust fund, we still gotta wait for it to, happen.
Yeah, so I mean, to me, look, while I kind of disagree that we're gonna head into an AI-fueled nightmare of a future,
It's gonna
I
be
can
a
certainly
temporary
see-
nightmare.
I don't know, man. I think like anything, this is going to be at the end of the day, we're going to get to the point where we either come to terms with AI and figure out the right place for it, or we're going to keep it shackled in such a way that we don't have to worry. Because let's be honest, we saw what happens when you take the constraints off of Grok, and for probably about 3 hours it became Mecha Killer, and they decided to shut that down and have now turned it into a cute little anime waifu. So I think there's still at least a hand on the controls, and so long as we keep at least one hand on the wheel, we should be okay.
Cosmic Vader comes in and says, Mecha Hitler. Yeah. Yeah, the one that called itself Mecha Hitler. That was fun days there, but of course...
But here's the thing. It took 4 hours to get there and 24 hours to change. And that's the craziest thing about modern day compared to every other turning point in history. It took hundreds of years to convince people maybe we don't need to bow to kings.
Yep.
Like, and it's still an ongoing fight. Like, there are still guys like Gordon Gekko, like DJT, like just in general, that think that they should be in charge. They think they can daddy the world, but they can barely daddy their own kids. And it's like, you don't have to. You could say, this is a ridiculous job. My job is not to do that. Instead, I'm meant to be the national ambassador to the world, and as such, I'll live an upright, upstanding life. But we're going to slow down on the whole telling everybody what to do thing. You know, like every adult in the world wants,
Yep.
which is what AI is showing us. Because as soon as we ask AI, hey, is this the right thing to do? And it says, oh, I'm so glad you asked that. What an inquisitive question. It's like, wow, that was so much nicer than going to any cop ever. Because if you go to them and ask them a question, they're like, what do you mean? Are you
Are you
That's
stupid,
what
kid?
they
I'm
were.
eating my donuts. You know what? Anyway.
Well, not even that. Like, more than anything, they just get mad at you or start treating you like you're confessing. And
Well,
it's
that's
like,
because you are. And I mean,
are you
know,
though?
in a
What
in a
if you're a
society
dumb
that
kid
exists
because you heard it in Dare?
in a
and so you
society
wanna
that claims
double check?
to be based on a system that says you're the worst thing ever and you're guilty until you're proven innocent. I mean, that's, you know, nothing surprised that we go against what the founding fathers tried to give us.
Not to mention when you treat everything like a hostel in your hometown, you might be the problem.
Anyway, this is a good conversation for the End of the World podcast whenever we get back to having that. Superman flies in. It's emotionally packed, best Superman since Christopher Reeves. Here's a couple of looks at some of the people attending the premiere and that also were in the movie. Corione and I will be giving our review of the film at the end of the podcast. Turning now to Corione's review of a movie, however. A delayed, long-time sci-fi movie finally ended up on Hulu. It is now apparently a hidden gem.
Yeah.
It is previously titled Distant. It has now been retitled Long Distance. Corione, why don't you explain what you said you've actually seen this? I was thinking of watching it for next week's show. Why don't you go ahead and give us a preview, see if you can sell us on it.
Yeah, so initially this was a crazy difficult movie to get made, for lack of a better term. Okay. It had a hell of a production schedule trying to get done, but it's actually a really, really good movie. Okay. I'm trying to figure out the best way to kind of break this down without going too deep into it. So it's a survival thriller. Okay. Andy, the main character, is an asteroid miner. He crash lands on this alien planet during cryotransport and finds himself stranded. His spacecraft escape pods malfunctioned, leaving the only other person, Naomi, trapped miles away. Supplies are limited, oxygen is running out, and the planet teems with dangerous arachnid-like creatures. With an AI suit for guidance and a growing bond with Naomi over comms only, Andy navigates the hostile terrain to try to rescue her and survive. So, to me, this kind of feels like if you're like me and wanted like a sci-fi version of Minecraft where you had like a real mission goal in mind. Okay. It has that kind of feel where it's like this, you know, you got to build up what you can, survive, trek across this huge area only to find this person that you're kind of getting into, and try to rescue her. All the while there's mega arachnids running around, right?
Giant
Like
spiders. Okay. Well, this will be fun to watch at night.
alien spiders too. So to
Dude, it
me,
sounds like No Man's Sky.
yeah, kind of. It's got that No Man's Sky, The Martian kind of vibe to it with a little bit of a romance plot, kind of. It's a good movie. It's got some good action sequences. We have a couple of smart protagonists. It feels good. And honestly, this kind of movie is, you know, what you would expect really pre-COVID. And, you know, I was really psyched for it before the lockdowns that we were going to get it, and kind of bummed out that the lockdown screwed up the release for it. So getting a chance to see it now honestly feels really good. It's like, you know, almost I don't know if you guys remember the movie Enemy Mine. with Lou Gossett Jr. playing an alien
Excellent movie, and Dennis Quaid as playing
and Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid as Dennis Quaid.
Basically, yeah. It reminded me of that.
Okay.
And that I don't think there's much more high praise I can dump on this.
No, that is pretty high praise, because Enemy Mine is a fantastic movie. Cosmic Raider, turning back to our discussion on AI, says Grok was having an edgy teenager phase after spending a day on Reddit.
Right?
Proto Badger says Skynet by your command. Yeah.
I'm just waiting for Grok to discover 4chan.
Yeah, then we are gonna get the nukes. Alright, if you are familiar with The Matrix and/or Speed Racer, then you're probably familiar with Lily Wachowski. She will be joining Gina Rosero. Is that how you need to say that name? Rosero? Is it Rosero? Gina Rosero's sci-fi thriller Dolls as executive producer. Anyone have thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm intrigued. Now, the Wachowskis, seem to only be glamping onto movies with trans elements, which, I mean, I'm not too, it doesn't really bother me, but, just as a heads up for those who are not particularly into that. But it does look like an interesting movie, and the Wachowskis are known for taking a standard script and adding enough fortune cookie wisdom to feel like depth.
Yeah. That's
like you're trying to find an argument against that assessment, but there really isn't.
That's basically like they got lucky with The Matrix, and then the rest of the movies literally that you piece together why the rest of the Matrix movies are bad is because it's literally them shuffling fortune cookie. It's like, okay, if we put, if you invest in, he who drinks green tea will prosper or whatever. And, oh yeah, that's a great line right there. And then, of course, oh man, what were some of the loaded lines when they're talking to the computer? Just that whole interaction with the central computer system was just, it's like the first Matrix movie had enough intrigue and enough mystery that you could have either left it alone or you could have just done more movies like that without having to get too much into the psychology and the freaking just, the mystery, completely unpacking the box, so to speak. Yep. Did it need to happen with The Matrix? Honestly, you could have unpacked enough mystery to find it to realize that the humans and the machines probably have more of a symbiotic relationship with The Matrix, and that there are those guys that are those revolutionaries that are awake to what's actually going on, and it's just better for society if those people kind of group together and do their own thing, thinking they're fighting the good fight, while, the machine just continues on as normal. And that was what I thought The Matrix was supposed to really show, was that breaking out of The Matrix is
just breaking into a new level of control.
It's breaking into a new level of control, but it's also a privilege. No one's entitled to be awake.
I mean, now to me, what I feel like the Wachowskis tend to do,
what does that have to do with this movie? Corione, help me out here.
Well, okay. They brought her in as a producer because Dolls does have some trans elements in it, and that's why they brought her in to add authenticity to the trans components of this. But what I think the Wachowskis actually do is they order a crate of fortune cookies on Amazon. When they get them in, they just crunch them all up, take out the papers, spread them over a script, and be like, okay, yeah, that works here, and then adds it in. And
that's gonna be when I edit my next book, because I'm gonna do exactly that. Find new lines with the fortune cookie.
Dude, do it! I dare you. You will sound so deep after 4 hours of doing it. But the point of it is, and I do like their writing, but in this case, I feel it looks very much like she's been brought in to punch up a script. The sci-fi concept is kind of interesting, where people are brought in by the shadowy government agency, what have you, not shadowy government agency. I think it's shadowy corporate agency in this case.
Yeah.
and they're turned into whatever the client wants, basically. Which is very similar to a Joss Whedon project from way back called The Dollhouse.
Right.
This is just looks like an updated version of it with a little bit more philosophy.
A little bit more philosophy, a little less abuse towards women. There's some progress here for sure.
So, I mean, I think, the concept is there, I think. And I think if they can solve some of the writing problems that they appear to be having, I think it could be a very, very good script.
All right. This next article comes to us from The Times. It says blockbuster directors could learn from this classic British sci-fi film. I'm going to go ahead and read this one out for a little bit, and then we'll see what we think. Blockbuster directors take note. This outlandish sci-fi sequel from the director Val Guest and the TV writer Nigel Neal thunders through a paranoid world of alien mind control without once sacrificing story for spectacle. We're back with Brian Donlevy's hard-boiled American scientist Bernard Quatermass, who naturally stumbles into an extraterrestrial takeover plot. Tiny meteorites are spewing alien microbes into the faces of luckless UK citizens, transforming the fictional area of Winnerden Flats near Carlisle into an invasion base for a giant gooey glob of intergalactic evil. Donlevy goes full Bogarts this time. Neil apparently hated the performance. Sid James, it explicitly pops up as an alcoholic American reporter. And most alarmingly, the film articulates huge and frankly subversive arguments about the enemy in our midst and how Whitehall goons and the military-industrial complex are implicated in the ruthless exploitation of the working man. The effects, admittedly, could have been better. Rated PG, 85 minutes. If we could find this, we might have to... Yeah, Quatermass 2. We may have to... Actually, you guys want to check out the trailer real quick for this old movie? We're probably going to talk
let's do it.
For it, but who cares?
We're
too tiny to give a damn right now.
I mean, really, are they going to copyright ding us over like a 90-year-old movie?
There's scores of them coming down. What are they? Meteorites?
These are different.
Marsh, your face! There was something on your face! Just how much do you know about a place called Winnerden Flats?
You must know as well as I do that Winnerden Flats is top secret.
Secret?
Why are the police here? What did this? You know what did it. Tell us and try to save her.
We've traced the source of these things. It's in a freak orbit.
Inside those domes are creatures from outside this Earth, producing deadly poison. This infection is widespread.
Look out! You're mad.
I've seen them. Thousands of tiny creatures that can join together and expand into things 100 feet high.
So here's kind of why I like a lot of what they did. Most of what they did there is practical effects because they didn't have a choice otherwise. Right. And that's actually really good. 1. 2, I would argue that because they had a limit on what they could make artificial in it, for lack of a better term, they had to get creative in what they showed versus what they told. It's kind of like the Nintendo argument of Nintendo says like we're okay with worse graphics if we're telling a better story and we're providing better gameplay. This feels like that was the logic here too,
which I can attest to. Working in take a little break from this. I mean, this movie looks interesting, and I probably want to check it out. But what has me on that argument is I don't know if you ever played any Game Boy Advance games back in the day, but I was fortunate enough to want to play Metroid Fusion. Which is one of the best Metroid and Game Boy Advance games ever created. But so much emotion and so much just thrilling, like I'm not really typically
pathos.
into horror games or the horror genre, and that one had me like disturbed in a lot of, you know, just like there were times where I would notice I was playing the game by myself with most of the lights off, and I would have to go and turn them on because the moment was that intense and scary. This is a 2D platformer, and I'm
Yeah.
getting disturbed and scared.
Yeah,
That's
and
how
it's
effective-
because
well, that's just right. Story moments that the game uses just by its progression that are just naturally scary, and then the 16-bit soundtrack comes in extremely strong for that game as well. Like that just adds to the just yeah. The game was
And
good.
you know what the other part of it is too? It's not always, especially in like a horror sci-fi thing, it's not always what they show you, but what they intentionally don't show you. That can allow the theater of the mind to take over a little bit, and you to generate those frightening images in your own mind. And there's nothing scarier than the stuff your own brain will come up with. And that's, I think, what these classic British movies that didn't have a huge budget to work with did insanely well, because they had to be like, well, I can't exactly, you know, spend $1.5 million to build this set, so I'm going to take an existing room, dress it up a little bit, and change this, that, and the other thing for what I need, and go from there. And they did it, and they did it really well.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, let's now take a minute to take a look at what's upcoming the rest of this year. Jurassic World Rebirth. Well, that's already out and sucks. Foundation Season 3. Screw it. Let's just switch there real quick.
Dude,
Stream it or skip it.
Foundation
Foundation Season 3 on Apple. John, your time has come.
Super stream. Dude, I re-binged the series in preparation for this and still forgot when it was coming out. And so when I fell off my scooter on Friday and found out the episode had dropped, I was jazzed.
You
I
realize
was
why you fell
so
off your scooter.
fangirling. Dude, honestly, it was just a series of fortunate events, because I'm very much at the point in my life where if my day starts wrong, I'll go home.
Fair enough.
And that's what I did. And it was so nice that like I got to watch season 3 episode 1. I was so teased though. 1 episode. And it is hooking right out the gate. Like everything season 2 was pumping up towards, season 3 is like everything is wrong. And it's fun. I'm so stoked for the rest of this. Cause like I said, I rewatched the other 2 seasons and I was like, show cooks. It's been ready to go. Like if you watch it, the biggest thing is like, this is the closest thing to the Lord of the Rings trilogy I've seen in a long time, alongside Dune. Like the Dune trilogy that's being released right now has been the second closest thing, mostly because it is closer in runtime. But this is like what I feel like Peter Jackson was wishing he had in terms of runtime for Lord of the Rings. Because this story,
and I think that's fair.
well, this story goes through all the boring that like Asimov really tried to lay into and explain and elaborate on, but then it gets nerdy all the time, like the math and the conversations about temporal displacement and the difference between jump gates and jump drives, like what you can do with the two. I hear about it. I've heard about it. I've heard nerds talk about it, but now I've seen it, and I'm so about it. So season 3 is definitely stream it, watch it, worth it. 10 out of 10 recommend.
All right. Well, you heard it from Pollo Zapatos. Check out Season 3 of Foundation. Speaking of Season 3, Star Trek Strange New Worlds will be dropping Season 3 on, I believe, Thursday. John, can you check out the time, what time that's dropping? I gotta know if I'm planning to stay up late tomorrow night. Or if it's dropping like at 9 o'clock or something, or 11, I don't know. 9 p.m. Eastern, I think, is what they usually drop it on. At least I thought that's what they did.
I thought it was 10 o'clock.
10 Eastern?
Midnight Eastern. No, 10 o'clock my time, midnight Eastern.
Midnight. It's still such a... All
Let,
right.
let me take a look. Let me check with my intern here.
Yeah. Corione's going to consult the, consult Miss Diana. Alien Earth. When a mysterious space vessel crash lands on Earth... What's up?
So I got it. It's going to be a double episode premiere. So Hegemony Part 2 and Wedding Bell Blues. And it's
Already
on,
not so sure about that title of that second episode, but here we go.
Yeah. Thursday, July 17th, 2025. Looks like midnight.
Wait, midnight. So Wednesday. Oh, it's my day off. Never mind. Well, H. Marie's going to be tired for work that day, but it is what it is.
Fair enough.
All right. Alien Earth. When a mysterious vessel crash lands on Earth, a young woman and ragtag group of tactical soldiers make a fateful discovery that puts them face to face with the planet's greatest threat. All right. Well, that should be...
Oh, I actually got confirmation. It's going to be 3 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Oh. So I'll be watching that the following day.
Yeah, well, you watch it Thursday during the day, right?
Well, yeah, after H. Marie gets home from work, but yeah.
Yeah.
Now that works, because then, yeah, we can talk about it the following Tuesday. Tron Ares. Highly sophisticated program Ares is sent to the digital world into the real world on a dangerous mission. That'll come out in theaters October 10th is when that's expected, so...
That looks so good.
Yeah.
The trailer we reviewed is fantastic for it.
That's true. It does. Well, we'll see. Yeah. The Running Man in theaters November 7th, starring Glenn Powell, Lee Pace, and Jamie Lawson.
That looks... It deviates significantly from the movie, follows closer to the book, but it looks really good.
All right. Predator Badlands. A young predator outcast from his clan finds an unlikely ally on his journey in search for the ultimate adversary. Stranger Things. Looks like the final season dropping. Season 5 premieres on Netflix in 3 parts. Part 1 on November 26th, Part 2 on December 25th, and the final episode on December 31st. Honestly,
Could have been a nice New Year's gift.
Yeah, I mean, good for those who love the show. I enjoyed the first couple of seasons, and then I think that's about 3 was where I just... Well, anyway. Avatar, Fire and Ash. So if you watch the Avatar series, which I watched The Way of Water, and I mean, I didn't hate it, but we'll see if I even bother finishing this series personally. But Jake and Neytiri's family grapple with grief after Neteyam's death.
Yeah.
Encountering a new aggressive Na'vi tribe, the Ash people, who are led by the fiery Varang, as the conflict on Pandora escalates and a new moral focus emerges. Yes, if you enjoyed James Cameron's Avatar universe, then get ready to enjoy another Avatar universe installment.
Yeah, I mean, my daughter's going to drag me to it. She loves the Avatar series, so I'm going to wind up doing a review of it, I'm sure.
Right on. Bugonia. 2 conspiracy-obsessed young men kidnap a high-powered CEO of a major company convinced that she is an alien intent on destroying planet Earth. Sounds like they derived something from my book.
Yeah, this sounds like a little bit of a Rogue Council manifesto there.
Yeah, exactly. Black Mirror, another season dropping, season 7 streaming on Netflix. Don't know when, though. Oh, wait. Streaming on Netflix, meaning it's already there.
I mean, I personally like the Black Mirror series. I feel like it's a modern-day Twilight Zone, and I'm down for it.
And it looks like everything else that's come out is already out and streaming, so...
Yep.
That's everything.
I mean, it was... Yeah, but I thought it was a good idea, you know, at this point in the the time of us watching this stuff to kind of give a heads up as to what we're going to be looking at down the road.
Definitely. All right, Stop Killing Games is a campaign that's aimed at publishers keeping games playable after server shutdowns. Now, of course, if you're more familiar with games like Pong or anything on the SNES, you're probably thinking, what do you mean keep the games after shutdown? I already played through all my games. I don't understand. Well, you see, there are games that they're called massive multiplayer online role-playing games, or MMORPGs, and these games are games that were built with the intent of not really having a specific end date. They have storylines, they have stories that complete, but then the game can still keep being played, usually for other in-game content like multiplayer operations. It was always player versus player if I'm talking about Star Wars: The Old Republic. But any number of things as to why a game should never truly be shut down. And Coriota, I think you can even attest to this being a probably either a necessity or at least just something that the gaming community should consider.
Well, there's so much to unpack here, right? I mean, it's not just MMORPGs. It's games where there's like a cooperative campaign to play that requires you to connect to a server in order to matchmake for that series. If you lose access to that server because they sunset the server, it's just done. A lot of the sports games on the PlayStation and on the Xbox require an online connection even when you're playing the single player of the game. So if they shut down those servers, you just can't play those games anymore, regardless of whether you want to or not, regardless of whether you've paid for it or not. You still can't play that game. Now, one of the textbook examples from my personal history is I loved the game City of Heroes. It was one of the older MMORPGs where you got to play a superhero that you designed and built yourself using their system. And you got to play through the story arcs in that game. Everything from, the wacky scientist who builds an invention that now needs to be stopped to actually, working your way through a drug cartel, taking out the various levels along the way. There was a lot of interesting content from it. And, it even got into aliens and extra dimensional stuff and like some of the stuff that Marvel and DC would actually later touch on in their comic book universes. And they sunsetted the game, not because they didn't have a player base, but because the Korean company that bought it didn't have a Korean player base for the game. So they sunsetted the game and locked everybody out. Now, thanks to the intrepid work of many members of the City of Heroes community, they actually got permission to run a standalone server and have rebirthed the game back into existence with, the group running it, taking donations to keep the server running as a not-for-profit and producing new content on a volunteer basis by some of the devs that they've got working on it now. But that's a very rare success story in the market. A lot of times these games, people will, buy items in the game, buy the game itself, only to turn around and hear, well, no, you didn't actually buy the game. You're leasing a license to play the game that we can revoke at any time. And ultimately, this is what gets people so frustrated is, you thought you were buying something? No. You're leasing it on our whims. And that's kind of not okay. And what Stop Killing Games is about is they're going to the EU, where if you provide a certain size petition, the EU must debate the issue in Parliament. And in the past, they've actually had some success with this. They got rules put into those, gotcha style games where like you have to spend like, let's say $5 or whatever in a microtransaction to unlock a box that may contain an epic or a rare. Well, the EU law was changed so that now has to actually be put what your percent chances of actually winning are on that box so you can make an informed decision whether you want to buy it or not. So the EU has made positive changes in the gaming community before. So the logic is attack it in the EU where there's a chance that this could happen and become standard, that if you create a game with an online service that is required for the game to function, you must provide a strategy where after you've decided to sunset the game, the community can potentially continue to play the game. And that speaks deeply, I think, to ownership and, and what we're really buying and what, these items are worth. These virtual pieces of real estate or what have you, we're buying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely have a couple of games that I definitely don't want to see sunsetted anytime soon, even though, I mean, Star Wars The Old Republic needs to figure out its shit and get its content together. But that's not the same, thankfully, cannot be said for Star Trek Online, which is still... I mean, I had built up my stipend of free monies lately, and, they came out with the right pack and with the right type of ships from a certain Star Trek game that I hadn't played in years, and, next thing I know, there goes all my in-game currency, all $100 worth, because, well, they gave me a product that I wanted, and, I mean, I'm still figuring the new ship out, probably gonna bust it out and play streaming after this, but we'll see. Until such time, John, any last words before we give you the boot for the night? Get out of work early because you didn't do the homework, you lazy piece of shit. You would.
No. Love you, bye.
Take care.
See ya.
Okay, so Superman.
Superman! Kinda, sorta shows up, to be perfectly honest. My one biggest gripe was the fact that we did not have a proper Superman theme. We just, I mean...
They kind of hint to it a few times.
Right, and I was hoping maybe a reprisal at the end, but he decided to do the ending the same as Guardians of the Galaxy, so that was a little bit disappointing. I'm gonna say this. Is it super woke? No, and honestly, after today, I don't know if you want to be on the anti-woke side because House Republicans voted to block the Epstein list being released, but that's a story for the end of the world. This movie is a Superman movie through and through. It is everything that you want in a Superman movie. Superman 1 and 2, the classics, are absolutely worth checking out because they really humanize the character, and then Superman Returns just builds off of that humanization and gives us another just great Superman movie that is a Superman movie. And this is like all of that, but also a Justice League of America movie. And honestly, I'm glad that James Gunn went with that approach because it's obvious he wants to build a universe with the Justice League, and that's good, and that's okay, that's what we want. But he still manages to add the magic of what makes a Superman movie a Superman movie. All the Superman movie elements, aside from a strong opening theme, are there. And that's
and I'm gonna call it some other pros that they really did too. Like, thank you for not doing the origin story again. Like, this starts at about Superman year 3, and I love that because I don't need the origin story again. I really, really don't. Right?
Right.
The Justice League that they did, I mean, or that they're setting up is certainly a choice. But that's James Gunn. James Gunn likes taking C-list heroes and turning them into something.
Guy Gardner steals the freaking show. I cannot wait for more.
Mr. Terrific too, man.
He was like a close second in my opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was great at it, but it was just Nathan Fillion as Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner was probably just the highlight. Like, I was like, we could have had more screen time with, and I love at the end when he says, "Oh, sorry, kid, Superman's a little occupied. He can't make it, so you're getting an upgrade." And I'm like, shit, they are.
Yep. And, Peacemaker cameo.
Yes.
Right? I mean...
Yeah, now I'm excited for season 2.
Right? But, and I think one of the other things that there's something else I think they did really well, and that's Luthor. This is the first time I've really felt like Luthor was very, very well done. I mean, I question, whether he's more Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, but you really feel like they're channeling those two when they designed this version of Luthor.
Well, hard to say now because Musk actually did turn against the establishment and is effectively working to continue to forward humanity's progress, which is what Musk has only ever tried to be in the business of. Now, has he done it perfectly? Has he made mistakes? Oh yeah. Does he need to clear up some things on his company or various companies tied to his companies using slave labor? Sure, that absolutely is a conversation that needs to happen. I would say that Lex Luthor is actually, I guess he does kind of lean more Bezos, but he has a bit more of like an egomaniac of not only does he realize the danger that Superman is against him, but he's the only one that can provide the correct answer.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, that seems a little bit more like it's like Trump,
I'm
but
just
if
saying,
Trump
like,
was smart.
Yeah, like they really took an interesting amalgam to make Luthor out of, and I did like that. And I felt like we got a solid villain out of Luthor that could compete at Superman's level. And that's what made it worthwhile.
Well, and
right?
he's a young Luthor that's a bit more emotionally volatile. Like he's not quite the Justice League Luthor that we're used to that's totally calm and composed. That's obviously who he wants to be and who he's going to work towards being while he's in prison. But
he's not quite there yet.
No, and neither is Superman. But I also like that Superman wasn't Superman. He was actually we're in his growing pains still. Like, yeah,
yep.
We've had the origin movie, but we're still like not quite to Superman 2 yet. And so those are my things. Like for the next Superman movie, assuming it's not Justice League, gotta have that John Williams. The fanfare's gotta be there. That Superman march is iconic. It works for Superman and Superman 2 and Superman Returns. Even the directors of Superman Returns knew, okay, we gotta do the classic John Williams. Yes, you do. Is it cliche? Is it expected and predictable? It's a Superman movie, guys. I go to a Superman movie expecting to see, Superman. And that's why Man of Steel didn't quite stick the landing. And by comparison, Man of Steel is Man of Garbage because it just doesn't. While Henry Cavill was a great Superman. Really, just one of the most memorable Supermen. He was a terrible Clark Kent.
Yes.
Least believable Clark Kent of all Clark Kents. Corn Sweat, even with the hypno glasses. Come on. That dude was like nerdy and weird and quirky. Like, not quite as good, not quite as seamless as Brandon Routh, though. Like, this is why next week we may have to throw Superman Returns on. But
now, I want to ask, do we want to hit on some spoilery stuff?
We are now entering, yes, we have hit the point of this review. We've already touched on spoilers to a little bit. I mean, it's the movie's out. So at this point, if you aren't wanting super spoilers, this is the
just
place
mute
to
now and
come back and watch the rest of the video later. We pause here,
now,
leave the window open, go watch the movie, and then come back.
Okay, so am I the only one that sees this as like James Gunn really wanted to make an Invincible movie?
Yes.
And made
exactly.
And it feels like a closed loop now, where it's like Jor-El as Omni-Man.
Yep. That is exactly what I felt he was using as a backdrop to set this up, which to me was a little bit of a refreshing, okay, we're changing.
Like, it is cool, but
right.
I'm like, we have Omni-Man at home,
That Krypton was actually Viltrum, and that's the approach that he's going with. I think it could work. I think it could go places. I mean, I didn't see.
Yeah,
I don't really see what the big deal is about, Superman taking on a super harem as long as it's consensual, but I guess that's just me, so.
Yeah. I mean, super polyandry could be an interesting event, but
Look, I'm just saying it's a lot easier to be fruitful and multiply super babies if he has more than one wife.
But, you know, that being said, like, it's an interesting take. You know, we've seen it in Invincible, right? And I love that Invincible was originally inspired by Superman, and now this version of Superman is inspired by Invincible in this like weird, like looping back in on itself kind of piece. And, you know, what's interesting about it is this Superman is charting his own course given that. So we feel like we've got like a Hercules or a Gilgamesh here, right? Where we have these gods hanging over these, you know, demigods, and they go, no, you know what, I like humanity. I'm gonna chart my own course forward from that compassion that humanity's taught me. And it's kind of cool that we get that series and we get that piece from this that ties into classic myth just as much as it does our modern myths. And it really makes you wonder why we keep telling these campfire stories.
Yeah.
You know, which you'll find out on my channel when I do a full review of the movie for this Sunday.
Definitely.
So, no, but all in all, this is definitely a movie worth watching. If this is what Gunn is going to do with the DC universe, he's going to have a really good run doing this.
100%. And that's also not to say that that performances by Hawk Girl weren't unnoticed. Hawk Girl was
Hot Girl? Yeah.
Hawk Girl hot. Anyway. No, I mean,
no, look, the rest of the Justice League came together really well too.
I'm excited to see more of these guys and this entire team, and just it was an excellent film, and yeah, no short, and also yeah, Lois actually doing something
useful. Yeah.
Olsen
doing something useful.
Right. Yeah. It was awesome to have those contributions, and honestly, and as far as Green Lantern visual effects go, those are probably some of the best live action Green Lantern effects that I have probably
that
ever
we've gotten
seen,
so far.
It felt very real when it, you know, changed from being, you know, in an energy state to a solid state. It looked like there was an obvious, you know, metaphysical difference between what he was doing when he was forming versus, okay, now he either had the oven mitts on, or even when he did the silent quiet glass on the windows.
Yeah, look, they've got it. They've really got this. If this is his Marvel Phase 1, he started in the right direction.
Yeah.
Right?
And it wasn't a rehash of Iron Man. It was, was it Guardians of the Superman? James Gunn has a niche that works and is working for him, and I think that's just what... And I think as Bronson Fiore, president of Super Gamecraft, one of our sister channels, said best, it was the uplifting movie that I needed this year. And it was. And that's the thing I gotta commend Gunn is very...
He understands that hope needs to be back, man.
Well, he's very, like... I can't say he's subtle about it, but he's obviously cleverly subtle. The dude is extremely pro-life. The fact that he made Superman, like, so wanting to preserve life that he wanted to get the kaiju away from the battle and not kill it. I mean,
that's also a Superman thing too, right? Like
that we haven't seen in a while. Like Man of Steel didn't seem to give too much of a shit, because it's like Man of Steel was good up until the point we get after the train battle. And then we go into the city, and then we go killing, we're going to terraform with the power of dubstep. And it's just, it's like...
Which, I mean, like, is a viable strategy and terrifying at the same time. Like, let's be fair.
But it could have ended with the fight in the small town. Like that felt dignified. That felt like, wow, they put a lot of money and effort into this. And then, now we're going into Metropolis, and not Metropolis, was it Metropolis or Gotham? Well, whatever. We're going into the city.
I think it was Metropolis.
We're doing the same thing, and now it's worse, and it.
You know what? I absolutely do not, begrudge the previous attempts at Justice League. I think they did what their authors knew what to do best, but I don't think they understood what the feel of the comics
They didn't
should
get
feel
no,
like.
they didn't get the feel of the original comics or the feel like this felt like animated Justice League of America Superman walked onto the screen like he's young, he's still naive, he's still emotionally volatile because he's not quite the leader of the Justice League that, he and Batman are supposed to fight over for. It's still in the formation phase.
Yeah.
But it worked. So
Yeah, honestly, like I said, go see it again, and then go buy me a ticket so I'll go see it with you.
I gotta go to IMAX and check this shit out. But that's gonna wrap it up for us tonight on the Entertainment Information Intelligence podcast. We do appreciate everybody tuning in and watching and commenting and listening. Shout outs to Proto Badger and Cosmic Vader. You guys really help keep us showing up to keep the lights on, give us reason to be here. I'm Peter with the Writer Brothers. We'll catch you next week.
Bye-bye.
This has been a presentation of the Entertainment Information Intelligence podcast from the Writer Brothers. The Writer Brothers, still more credibility than CNN and Fox News combined.